Plants, vegetation are among the features that make our yard special for us and our guests. Hi, I'm Melinda Myers, horticulturist and gardening expert. I work with a lot of people in communities, helping them establish their gardens. It's a good idea to start by looking up for overhead transmission poles and wires. It's important for your safety to avoid placing tall-growing woody vegetation, trees and shrubs, and areas that will interfere with utility rights of way. American Transmission Company recognizes that trees and shrubs are an important part of the landscape, and ATC encourages the growth of tall-growing vegetation the smart way, a safe distance outside of an electric transmission line right-of-way. I'll show you some great examples of beautiful, low-growing, transmission line compatible landscapes that last for years. Do a bit of planning, properly plant, and with minimal care, you can create a four-season garden filled with birds and butterflies that's good for you and the environment and won't interfere with overhead transmission lines. As you design your low-growing landscape and individual gardens, make sure your plants will grow and thrive in the existing conditions and also fit into the available space now and in the future. Small shrubs and trees will quickly develop into mature plants that could hit the eaves of your home, hang over your roof, the neighbor's fence, or more importantly, get dangerously close to transmission lines. Grow Smart is about locating the right plant in the right place for the right purpose for your safety now and the future. And fortunately, there are many Grow Smart choices for your landscape. Let's look at a few. There are lots of native and cultivated tickseed, also called coreopsis. Many have fine foliage that's very attractive, and the yellow daisy-like flowers are great nectar sources for butterflies. The seeds attract the finches in the late summer garden and winter garden as well. Wonderful for full sun, part sun locations. The purple of agastache, also called hyssop by many, is a wonderful contrast to the yellow of coreopsis. The fragrant foliage is a nice addition, has a little bit of a licorice smell. The flowers attract nectar-loving insects and butterflies. Great in the garden. It does reseed readily, so give it some room to grow and spread. You may recognize goldenrod. It's not the cause of hay fever. Beautiful yellow for the late summer and fall garden. Great as a cut or fresh flower. It'll look good in the garden or in a vase. Also provides nectar for late season butterflies and those beneficial insects that help keep problem insects under control. Coneflower you may recognize. Purple, pinks, and white types are available. Great in the garden. The flowers are excellent nectar source and will brighten your garden mid to late summer into fall. Leave the seed heads. You'll have more plants next year, but you'll also bring in the birds to add color and motion to the winter garden. Great seasonal interest, summer, fall, and winter. You can see that the liatris, the summer early fall bloomer, is starting to show some fall color. Great in the garden. Vertical spiky interest for a nice accent. White or purple spike-like flowers that provide nectar for the butterflies. And the seeds, if you let these seed pods develop, they'll be fluffy and bring in the birds. Again, good for winter interest, for you to enjoy and the birds. Bringing in the birds and the butterflies is a great way to extend the interest and year-round appeal of your garden. And don't forget about grasses. They add motion and texture to the landscape, both native and ornamental types. This is Shenandoah Switchgrass. It's a cultivar of our native switchgrass. The native switchgrass reseeds readily and makes a huge stand. So if you've got a small space, you might want to consider doing one of the cultivars. Grows about 4 feet tall, has nice red tinge foliage throughout the season. The flowers are red, and then it turns red for the fall and eventually beige throughout the winter. Plus, the seeds feed the finches. I've just mentioned a few of the many low-growing plants you can grow in your garden or natural plantings near transmission lines. And be sure to download our Grow Smart Plant Guide for more ideas to help brighten your landscape spring through winter and for years to come.